Hi everyone, my name's William Cline, Ad Sales Manager, and welcome to this week's edition of Marketing Minutes by Scuba Diving Industry Magazine.
And I'm William Cline, publisher, and thank you for watching the show. Our 110th episode, I believe, of this dive industry deep dive discussion with different companies. And if you're a dive entity out there or a company that'd like to get on the show, reach out to Britton and I. So who do we have today, Britton?
Yeah, that'd be great. But today we actually have two very special guests, our very own contributors, David Prichard and Lily Mack of Enchanted Sea Images and Vari-Fit Snorkel Keepers. So Lily and David, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. You know, Dave and Lily have written so much for us.
That's right.
I mean, almost every single month, there's some great guides. So they've got a huge amount of experience. I can't wait to jump in today's show.
That's right. In both the diving world and the world. But to dive
Real
right
world, right? Yeah.
Dive right into it. Could you tell the industry a little bit about both your backgrounds and maybe just a little bit about how you got into diving as well?
Okay, well, I can start off. I've had a very non-traditional career, both in the technical and business side. My academic background consists of two bachelor degrees and an MBA. My first degree was in physics, and my second was in engineering, electrical. Then I did my MBA. But I actually started off my career as a nuclear physicist working in Germany on the circular accelerator.
Now, that's the first for our show.
That's right.
We've not had a nuclear physicist on so far.
That's right.
Let's continue, Lily. Sorry.
Okay, and then from there, I went back to Canada, where I was born and raised, and I worked as a hardware and software engineer in telecom. And then from there, I also worked in the IT and HVAC industries in marketing and product management. So I attribute a lot of that to my mom, who's a real live Tiger mom, and she really stressed the importance of education and always continuous learning. But I had a bucket list of things I've always wanted to do, and scuba diving was one of them. And when I started that, it just stuck. So right now, I'm a PADI assistant instructor, so I help David when he instructs, and also certified cave diver, and my passion is underwater photography.
Right. And I started off in the newspaper industry, going up through the ranks and becoming an editor and general manager of several newspapers, and even started one from scratch for a publication company. So later I switched over to technical magazines for McGraw-Hill and did that for a long time. And during that period of time, a friend called from, it was my college roommate, and said, "Hey, my parents have a condo down in Sarasota, Florida. You want to come learn how to scuba dive?" So I said, "Sure, I'll go do that." So we got certified, and then came back. I transferred to Dallas and went to a dive shop where this is a good business line. He said, "Hey, we're going to be diving this weekend. Why don't you come on out and hang out with us? I'll bring a set of gear for you free." I said, "Okay, I'll do that." And so once I went for the weekend, I got hooked. Good camaraderie. So I went up through all the recreational certifications, up to master scuba diver. Then they say, "Hey, you can help us more if you're a dive master. Then you can help us more if you're an AI. Then, instructor." So now I'm a master instructor.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, we met in our Dallas dive club, and we started diving together and going on trips.
No
Matter of
way.
fact, one trip was special down to Cozumel because I brought a slate, and I pre-wrote on the slate, "Will you marry me?" And I presented that to her, and she first grabbed it, and I couldn't read what she wrote, and then finally
I claimed I was narked.
Yeah, we both claimed we were narcs, at the time. Even had a friend come take a picture because he thought we found some interesting fish or something.
Oh, how cute.
That's great.
Great story.
And then we got married in Australia on the Coral Sea on Flinders Reef. And it was actually, we were the first wedding on the Mike Ball expedition. And the crew went all out. They were all in their white uniforms, barefoot on the beach. And we had the sun setting on one side and the moon rising on the other side. So it was totally memorable.
Wow.
And this year marks our 25th anniversary. So we are planning to go back.
No kidding.
Absolutely.
How cool is that?
Congratulations,
Yes.
first off. Wow, that's incredible.
So, I just counted, and as of this new issue that's coming out in May, David and Lily have written 14 articles for us, 14 different issues, and have just been absolutely fantastic contributors. And I'm still challenging them for cover shots. They're elusive, but they've got a huge breadth of work to work with. In fact, I just got a big batch for the show, and I'm going to go through them and see if there's anything there that might end up being a cover. But tell us a little about your retirement and the development of the Snorkel Keeper, your product that you invented and sell.
Okay. Well, we both retired last year from our corporate jobs, but now we're full-time into the scuba diving industry. So that's been, I think we feel like we're even busier now than ever. But during our corporate life, we started writing in our spare time for a number of magazines. We started off in Skin Diver magazine. Many of you still remember that one.
Old days.
Totally.
Yes. And then we were contributing editors for many years for Dive Training Magazine and Dive Center Business. And then we wrote for Wreck Diving Magazine. And we've also contributed a number of photos for many of the travel industry brochures, as well as magazines in water sports as well.
Right.
And now David will talk about our Snorkel Keeper.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Wow.
When I was a dive master for a dive shop, the owner said to me, there's got to be a better way to put a snorkel on a mask. So I developed the first prototype, stitching together a piece of neoprene and some Velcro strips, and it worked for a year, but I knew it had to be better. So I ended up going to a plastics trade show for my work and ran across a guy that produced silicone mouthpieces and octo holders, and so we got together, and Lily helped develop our Snorkel Keeper with their manufacturer. We went through the patenting process, and we knew started distributing to all the different dive shops that we knew, and it's on display at DEMA show each year, so that's where a lot of international people purchase it. We also sold a bunch of them to this company that had a action company that had video cameras, and it was what they used for attaching their video camera, which was sort of like a cigar shape, to helmets and things of that nature. So we used that, and then of course a lot of technical divers use it for attaching their hoses to their BCD to keep everything close together through a D-ring. Let me give you a quick demo. So here's my snorkel. I know it's going to fade out a little bit, but it's on and off in a second. You just keep one end at the bottom, keep it always attached, and all you have to do then is just button it in, and there you go.
Done. That's very cool.
So when the whale shark shows up and everybody else is trying to get things going, but now everybody has these big heads that you can't get that old traditional figure eight Snorkel Keeper, and those plastic ones break a lot. So it's really easy to put it on or boom, take it off.
Wow.
Like that.
And it's made in the USA, as I recall, right?
Yep. Made up in Maine.
That's amazing. That's a
you
rarity
guys.
these days, right?
Very
and I
much
suppose
so.
if you're a retailer out there, you have a wholesale program, of course.
Everybody said that we need to go get it made in China to be cheaper. But then I knew there'd be all sorts of knockoffs,
right?
Because you can't keep that secret over there.
No, that's so true. So true.
Absolutely. But with the recent Fiji dive guide for groups and the previous one on St. Lucia,
that's a great one,
in the Philippines, could you tell us a little bit about your travel business and how you can help retailers with their group travel programs as well?
Good question.
Right. I had a course director who was my mentor as an instructor, and when I first started off, he said, work with as many instructors as you can and adopt their good practices and avoid their bad practices. The same idea works well in diving, where you learn from the best and avoid the bad practices, because this is a job, not a vacation.
Yeah, and we've been leading groups for a little over 20 years now, but we actually started off learning from mentors that were in the dive industry, and they were, they gave us a lot of good advice, and they actually taught how to lead dive groups. And it really is an art. You need to be seen by your customers as a subject matter expert for the destination. There'll be a lot of questions. You need to be able to answer all of them. And then the other thing too is you have to have relationships, especially relationships with where you're going to be going, the dive center, the resort. And as an example, when you take your group there and your group comes in first time in, it's great to see the dive, to see the manager come right up to you. Hi, Joe, how are you? Glad to see you coming. It really gives the group a good feeling and a lot of confidence that, that their trip is well planned. And then you got to also know your customers. What are they like? Do they just want to dive all day? Or do they also want to see some of the culture, see some of the culture, the experiences, the food, do some sightseeing. They might have special hobbies like bird watching and that you might want to do. And so you want to be able to give them options to do that, whether it's incorporated as part of the trip or as an option for the trip. But it makes it special for them. And we also took like best practices, especially from our corporate experiences, in that what do we need, what are some of the best practices that we can take over to the scuba diving industry and really make the trips special and memorable. But it's really all about the customer experience and trying to take the trips to the next level. And we try to, our goal in writing our articles is to be able to pass on some of this knowledge and, on how to run successful trips. How do you get, how do you foster customer loyalty, get repeat bookings and basically grow your business? Because eventually what we found with our customers is they told their friends and family and our trips grew and we were able to fill them up pretty quickly.
That's correct.
It's a matter of gaining the reputation.
Yeah, as an instructor, logistics and risk management are foremost in your mind, and also in organizing leading dive trips. Our first dive set of articles were all about the details of how to plan and lead groups on dive trips so that everyone is a happy camper at the end of the trip. Too many trip leaders treat their trips as reward vacations for themselves, and pay little attention to the trip participants.
Very well said.
We've experienced those kind of trips where you feel like you're just on your own. So we provide guidance in our articles on how to make your customers feel included, safe, and appreciated. The latest set of articles we focused on is providing retailers and trip organizers with destination details, history, logistics, so they can both plan their own trips with a better understanding of the destination and help become subject matter experts when selling their trip and answering their customers' questions. Like, I feel more confident with you because obviously where we're going and what we're doing, versus, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on this show. I appreciate it. We've been watching some amazing photos. I'm enjoying them all. We have hundreds that we've been going through.
It's like a movie.
It's like a movie. It sure is, Brendan.
It's great. But one last question for the both of you, and you can answer separately as well, unless it's the same answer. But what so far has been your favorite destination to visit, and then destination dive-wise? Do you have a favorite on that front?
Right. Yeah, well, people have asked that a lot, and I like to say, well, I haven't dived everywhere yet. So I can't really tell you. Maybe something better somewhere else. I know other people have gone like, we only go to Bonaire. Well, gee, I can understand that it's familiar to you and everything, but there's a whole wide world out there. For example, the South Pacific has more marine life and better conditions for divers, so anywhere in that region offers excellent dive sites. Now, in the Caribbean, St. Croix's Frederiksted Pier offers a lot of interesting creatures that you wouldn't expect there. And the same thing for Solomon Pier in Dominica.
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think the old saying, the world is your oyster, really rings true here. I mean, there are just so many great destinations and interests, and it really depends on what you like to see, or if you want to see a variety. I mean, I have a lot of favorites. If I'm shooting, for example, wide angle, I want to go to areas that have really pristine corals, nice reefs, lots of fish and life. And, what comes to mind there is I love going to the Philippines and to Indonesia. And, there's and Solomon Islands. There's just a lot of locations to go that you're going to get different experiences at each one, and they're all unique. If I want to go see big animals, I like, one of my favorite spots there is going to Socorro Islands, where you can swim, literally swim with mantas all day long and see all, your share of sharks. World War II wrecks, we've done, we when we wrote for Wreck Diving Magazine, we did a lot of World War II natural wrecks, and some of the major locations for that is like the Solomon Islands, some really nice history wrecks there, and of course Truck Lagoon, of course, and there's other areas all around South Pacific and that you can find lots of wrecks to see, and there's lots of critters and life on the wrecks. Macro photography, you can't beat muck diving, and there's great muck diving areas, especially our favorites are in the Philippines and also in Indonesia. In fact, one of my big goals of continual learning is I'm going to be doing another underwater macro photography workshop in July, and we'll be heading to Limbe, where you're going to find all kinds of critters. Last time I was there, a lot of critters I've never even seen or heard of before. So it's always a learning education. Yeah.
For sure.
But any day diving is a good day.
That is so true. So great to learn more about you. Check out their latest article in the April issue of 2026, the Group Dive Guide to Fiji. It's fantastic. It's out, and you can see it at scubadivingindustry.com, and on there you can look at it on the web, or you can look at it on our flipbook version.
That's right.
So that's going to be a wrap us up for today. Remember, you can see this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you always know what's coming out next. You can subscribe to our magazine for free, scubadivingindustry.com, same place all of these podcasts are located. And any last closing words, David and Lily?
Just make the world an adventure, and that's how we treat everything. I would have to say, with all of our travel that we've done, we've not been afraid of any particular area. Some people seem to be afraid of going other places, but everybody out there wants to have a normal life and have a good time and be helpful. So we've been all over the world and never run across any issues. So I say go out and make those long distance trips, because you only have one life to do it.
Totally.
Happy diving.
That's great. Thank you again. And they're going to be at DEMA this fall.
That's right. So
we're going to see you at the DEMA show. They're going to be around, so look them up. We're going to be there as well with our booth, and we look forward to a great show. That's going to do it today. We'll see everybody.
All right.